I'm going to show you how to make hot cocoa bombs. And there's going to be 3 different videos for 3 different steps. So this one is going to be how to make the shells. And the second one will be how to fill them and seal them. And the third one will be how to decorate. So first thing, you have to make sure you have molds. I guess there's a few different sizes. This is the medium size. There's one that's larger, but it doesn't fit in some people's mugs. So I thought this one was good. Now, it's good to have a few. In the beginning, I only had one, and it took forever to make them. And I had orders for like 150 of them. So make sure you have enough for what you're doing. And so we will start. So what I did was, I don't have a double boiler, so I have a pot with some water, and then I'll just put this on top. I got it to boil, and now it's down to like medium. I used to microwave my chocolate in the microwave, but it was down for 2 weeks, so I had to get used to this. I don't have a double boiler, so this is what I came up with. Make sure your pan or your bowl does not hit the water, because then it'll go from being nicely melted to hard again, and you don't want that to happen. If it does overcook and it starts getting hard, not so melty, remove it from the stove and keep stirring it, and you should be able to save it, as long as it didn't get really hard and grainy. But usually if it just goes a little bit over, you could save it. So there's a few different chocolates I want to show you. Now there's regular chocolate you could use, but you have to make sure you temper it, and some people don't want to have to deal with that. So a lot of people have been using the almond bark. There's the chocolate and vanilla. And then what you do is just get a knife and just cut it as small as you can so it melts better. Some people buy the candy melts in the store. So I've been using both of these. Today, I'm going to be doing peanut butter. So this is what I've been buying for the peanut butter. So I already have the water hot. So I'll be able to throw this on and get it melted. Now you're going to notice that it's going to be a little thick. And I'm going to have to put some vegetable shortening in it, so it's a little thinner, I should say. Because when it's too thick, it's hard to apply it to the bomb. So let's just get this melted. Okay, we'll let that sit for a minute. But you can see how thick this is going to be. Let me show you. Just very thick. I've already done this one 2 different times, so I know how it is. And because it's so thick, it's just gonna be hard to move it around the bomb. You want it a little bit softer. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in some vegetable shortening, which looks like this. It's like Crisco. So I'll put some of this in. I'll start with that much and see if that's good. Okay. Just the water splashing out. Make sure you don't get any water that touches the chocolate. It'll seize up. See how it's getting a little thinner, because the vegetable shortening is starting to melt. Yeah, that's good. It's almost there, and I'll show you how to apply it in the mold. There we go. So then I usually lower it to low, just to keep it warm. Okay, so you get the mold, And I use this spoon. It is so much better than the brush that I used before. So you just swing it around the whole thing. Hope you could see it. Make sure you move up because you want to get the rim nice and thick. You don't want it too thin because when you go to put them together, if it's too thin, it will crack. I had that happen once or twice in the beginning when I was doing one layer. So now I do two, and it's been working out great. So I'm just going to show you. That's how I do this. And then what I do is I put it in the freezer. Make sure you have room before you start this, for 4 minutes. I time it exactly for 4 minutes, and it's perfect. Then when it comes out, I apply a second coat like this, except you don't have to put as much. It goes by a lot quicker the second time around. And then put it back in the freezer for another 4 minutes. And then take them out. You don't want to go too long because if you have them too cold when you take them out, they will crack. And you don't want that to happen. So, anyways, if you have a little too much in the middle, feel free to take it out. So you don't want it too thick, but you don't want it thin either. So I will be putting this in the freezer, and then 4 minutes later I put on my second coat. So that's how I make the shells. Okay, so now I'm doing the second step, making the bombs, putting them together. So what I did was I boiled the water and put a ceramic plate on top to get it warm. And that's the plate over here. So I take half of the bomb, put it on here, turn it until anything extra comes off and it's melty. So then I fill it up. This is chocolate going in the peanut butter one. I put in as much as I can, and then I'm able to fit 6 marshmallows in here. Then I get another half, and see where the little edges are? That's gonna come off when I do this. Makes it nice and flat. You can see as you turn it, don't let it sit too long, and that is nice and wet. Put it on here, push it down. Make sure it's lined up. And there you go. All set. I'll do one more. Okay. Fill it up. And marshmallows. I wear gloves because otherwise you're gonna get fingerprints in them, and we don't want that. So this, all this is gonna come off, that extra. Nice and melty. And if you have a little too much, you can just scrape it off. And that's it for part number 2. That's it. Okay, so this is the final step. I'm going to drizzle some chocolate on top and put a little bit of colored sugar. I'm using a number 2 tip. Got a little air in this. So just drizzle back and forth. And then just sprinkle some sugar. And that's it. Now, then I put it in a muffin cup. And I'm all done.